I'll start really quick on the slide I'm going to end with is here's a list of our upcoming webinars and topics. We would love to hear from you on any topics that you don't see that you'd like to see coming up. What we try and do is gauge these back on customer feedback and what they want to see. So put them in the Q&A, send us an email, whatever you'd like to see in the future. We want to put these together. And like I said, these 10-minute webinars have been very successful for us. They've been really good for people just being able to take a quick break out of the day and pick up some quick little tidbits. So with that, let's get into today's topic, which is one of my favorites. I love everything Excel. So I could just do all the webinars in Excel. So VLOOKUP and XLOOKUP. So some of you may already know what VLOOKUP is, and you're just coming in to see if there's any new tricks that that we have. And most of you probably not heard of XLOOKUP. So we're going to cover both of them. And there's a reason that I'm going to cover both of them, and I'll capture that towards the end of the webinar. But they're both really powerful, and they're really cool if you know how to use them. So we're going to start really quick, just looking at sample data. So this is just some dummy data that's in here. And as you can see, it's a very typical sheet that has company name, year founded, phone number, state, and number of employees. Then we're going to go over to the second tab, which again has a company name, year founded, and this is more of a financial tab, January sales, February sales, AR, AP, and so forth, right? So these are very common things for you to come across. You're pulling data from two different locations, and what you want to do is merge them into one table. So obviously you can do this with some copying, pasting, and so forth, but then what happens is it's not dynamic. It doesn't automatically update and so forth. So this is where the power of VLOOKUP comes up. Really, really neat stuff. So what you do is very simply just type in VLOOKUP. Microsoft is great in that it gives you little cues to go on. So basically, what do you want to look up? We want to look up this company name. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit a comma right here. And now it's going to ask me, where do I want to look it up? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here. Now, the really important part of VLOOKUP, this is really important, is that the first column in your selection has to be the index column. That has to be the value that you want to look up. So what we're going to do is we're going to start here and we're going to select the range. And for those of you who are a little more advanced in Excel, yes, this can be a named range as well. So we're going to go for the name and that range, and then we're going to hit a comma again. All right, so that's where we want to look up. Now, the way VLOOKUP works is that it goes by indexes. So basically it says, okay, this company name that I selected is column 1. Where do we want our data from? We want our data from column 2. So I'm going to put in a 2. I'm going to put in a closed parentheses. I'm going to hit enter, and here it is. Here's our state. Now, what I'm going to do, little tip here, I'm going to hit F4, and I'm going to anchor this. And I'm going to hit F4 in this range, and I'm going to anchor this one, right? Because I don't want them to change. Now I'm going to use a quick short of just double clicking on that lower right hand box. Is going to auto populate all the way down, and as you can see, beautiful. It just looked at that other column on the VLOOKUP to get that data. So we're going to do the same exact thing for employees, and we're going to do this a couple times to show you different aspects of it. So again, we're going to go over here. We want employees, which is the next column over. So again, we're going to select it. Again, with VLOOKUP, remember the left-hand column has to be the column that you're looking up. It cannot be any other column. You'll get zero data back on that. Again, we're going to hit a comma. In this case, we're looking for values in column 3. Again, first column is the index data, and then you count to the right. So again, employees comes up, great. I'm going to hit F4 to anchor that. I'm going to hit F4 to anchor that one. I'm going to again hit this little plus sign. I'm going to double click on that. It fills it up. Now this is where the power comes in. Sales are coming in from a totally different sheet. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to look up this lookup, going to hit a column. This time we're going to go to this other sheet. We're going to select these range, make sure the name of the company is in the most left-hand one. We're going to hit comma. We want January sales, which is in the first column. We're going to hit column number 1. Oh, sorry, we're going to hit column number 2. Done. I'm going to anchor this one and anchor this one. Now when I double click on it, That anchor is going to do it. So here's where our problem runs in with VLOOKUP. We want year founded. If we go back to the original sheet, guess where year founded is? It's on the left. That's not going to help us. So we either have to copy and paste the columns. They get really messy when you have a lot of columns and going through. So now this is where XLOOKUP comes in. XLOOKUP is the new version of VLOOKUP. So we're going to go in and use XLOOKUP. Let's see what's different on XLOOKUP. So XLOOKUP, we're going to go in. It's going to ask us the same thing. What do you want to look up? I'm going to look up company name. I'm going to hit comma. This is where things start to get different. Lookup array. You notice that term is different. What is it different about it? We're going to actually select the column. So you can select the range of data, but we're only going to select one column. We're not going to select multiple, just one. Then we're going to hit the comma button. Now what we're going to do, we're going to select the column for the results that we want. We're going to hit our close parentheses, and it's as simple as that. We can double click, fill it out. Didn't have to anchor it, as you saw, because we selected the whole column. There was nothing to anchor. So now we have all of that data. We can do the same thing really easy. XLOOKUP, we're going to look at the value. We're going to go back here, select the column, comma. We want employees. We're going to select that column, close parentheses, error message, of course, because we're in a demo. Those of you watching are probably saying, I know exactly what he did. All right, employee is done. Done. We can do the same thing. I'm going to show you a couple cool things that this can do as well in a moment. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go now, we're going to go into our financial data. We're going to select the lookup column. We're going to select the results column, close parentheses, done, double click. Here's where the power comes in. Because it's not dependent on where the index in, this is where XLOOKUP trumps VLOOKUP, because I'm going to go back to my sample data. I'm going to look at the company, but now I can go into year founded. I can go to the left where I couldn't do that with VLOOKUP. And look at that. Just like that, we can now go anywhere we want with XLOOKUP. Here's some other cool things about XLOOKUP versus VLOOKUP. So you have an option. Here's the options. You can Google this. I have the website right up here. You just Microsoft, just Google XLOOKUP variables. It'll bring you there. So here's the variables. So a couple things. One, if it finds nothing, you have the option to give it an NA, where that used to be a whole if statement you used to have to write out. It's like, if error, do this. If not equal to, do this. With XLOOKUP, it has that built in as an argument, which is really cool. Also, oops. Also, we have options if there's a match. So basically, if there's no exact match, you want it to have an NA, which is really cool. Again, we used to have to try and fiddle around with different things in VLOOKUP for that. If there's no match, what you do. The other thing that I like, which is really cool, so VLOOKUP only worked in one direction, and you had to like play funky with it if you wanted to go different directions. With XLOOKUP, you can say, I want you to look at all of them, and if there's multiple that meet the same thing, if there's multiple company names that are the same, I want you to take the largest, I want you to take the smallest, or it'll say, I want you to look from the bottom up instead of the top down. So those are some of the cool arguments that are available for XLOOKUP that are not available for VLOOKUP. Really cool. I'm going to show you another thing. Let's look at this data. This data is obviously formatted differently. You guys have seen spreadsheets where the data is horizontal instead. What you used to have to do is go play around with HLOOKUP. Well, with XLOOKUP, they actually bundled it in, which is so cool. So we can go into XLOOKUP. We're going to look for our same data. Now what we're going to do is we're going to select the row, comma, and then we're going to select the row that we want for a result. We're going to close parentheses. Oh, I did it again. God bless me in demos. Let's do it again. So we're going to select the company name. We're going to go select the row. We're going to hit a comma. We're going to hit like the state. We're going to close comma. and done. Now in this one, we do have to anchor it because we're doing rows. And if we auto-populate, it'll change the row. But when we do it, it fills it in. So it also does vertical and horizontal. Now where's the caveat? Where's the big gotcha? The gotcha is that XLOOKUP is only available in certain versions of Office. It's not available in all versions of Office. For whatever reason, Microsoft is only making it available in some of the newer versions of Office. We know it's definitely available in Office 365 versions of Office because those all have the latest versions, but some of the older versions for Microsoft has not released it yet. They are saying that they might release it down the road. I don't know why they haven't released it. It's clearly a better option, but that's why I wanted to cover the VLOOKUP. For those of you who are using the older versions of Office that won't have XLOOKUP right away, I wanted to show you that there is an option for VLOOKUP. XLOOKUP is clearly and definitely a better option going through. So that is it. How did I do for time? All right, I'm gonna say I was on time. I'm gonna say I was BSing for the first 2 minutes. Let's go. Jen, is there anything that I missed?
Nope, I think we're good.
Okay.
I'm just going to put up a rating for today's webinar. Do you want to go over the poll?
Oh, yes. Let's go over the poll. So what superpower would you like to have? We have so we have a three-way tie for second place. We have being invisible. This one I would have chosen, by the way. Superhuman strength got 0, by the way. Nobody wants to be strong. Talking to animals. I can't imagine they have anything useful to say, but okay, I'll go with you on that one. Reading minds. I think that's pretty much what Facebook is. If you get value out of Facebook, I think you already got the ability to read minds. The number one, which I'm kind of surprised at, is being able to fly. I don't know where you're going, but good luck. Hopefully it's a warmer place and to go someplace tropic. And that's the result of our poll. And then
If we have any questions.
Yes, if anybody has any oh, I'm sorry.
We don't have any.
Oh, okay, great, awesome. Okay, that is it. Thank you everybody for hopefully this is helpful. As you can see, we have webinars coming up. We're going to be going into some more topics that are going through, and these are all driven by you. So what you as a user want to see, we're going to have we're going to have some of our engineers do them, some of our salespeople do them to give them to different angles. Jen's going to do some on formatting and marketing. I'm very excited. She's going to do one on formatting Excel. So she does a great job with that. So I'm putting in some huge pressure for her to do a good job on the webinar. I guess maybe I'll introduce you on that one, Jen.
Sounds good.
Okay. All right, everybody. I hope you have an amazing day. Weather's looking good. Nice long Sunday. Nice long daylight hours. That's so nice. For those of you who golf really soon. That's it. Thank you very much for attending.
Great day.